Hello everybody, Visa here, and welcome to a video on world building. I'm gonna try and do this in one take, because I don't want to edit. I've already tried to start this twice before. Serket, so I don't forget, that's the name of a goddess of Egyptian mythology. Now, why am I mentioning that? Well, quite frankly, it's because of what we're going to be talking about today. That being, my apologies. No, there's plenty on that, but no, that's not the topic for today. What we're going to talk about is a giant scorpion. A big old fuck off scorpion. Because I really enjoy the look of them. I might, actually, as I'm speaking, I'm coming up with a way to improve on it. So, what is this giant scorpion? Well, as I mentioned, Serket is honestly a name I might give it. I might change it a little, and its key feature definitely would necessitate a slight name shift. Especially, at least if the scorpion itself is named Serket. Now, the idea is, this is a scorpion that is 4 kilometers long. That's the body. Its tail adds a bit of length, but the main body, so like to the base of the tail, where you would potentially say that is probably, I would class it as being like where the tail starts having a solid, unified width. So, you know, the body goes like that, and then it just keeps on the same width. I'd say that's where the tail starts. That length, before that, to the front of the face, is 4 kilometers. On the back of this giant scorpion is, not even giant, colossal is the word I want to use. This colossal scorpion, a city is built. Now, this is a place I've been having, in the back burner for a while because it's really cool. I tried to stat it out at one point for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and quite frankly, it's it's one of those things that you can't really stat this thing out. This would be more like a multi-stage giant fight if you were to lock into combat with it. But let's talk a bit about lore on this place. Basically, backstory as is right now is that this is a colossal. Colossal is maybe not the correct word, but a humongous creature. One of them, there are a few others out there in the world, which I have not developed basically at all. But they are huge creatures that are rumored to be the origins of the giant creatures that you find in this world. You can find giant spiders, you can find giant scorpions, giant octopus, giant everything. Not a giant octopus probably. You can excuse those because giant octopus are a real thing, and that is terrifying. Anyhow, main point is, these things are rumored, fabled, to be the origins of these giant creatures. And it would stand to reason when the giant scorpion, let's call it Serket for the purposes of this video. Serket is a colossal scorpion, as mentioned, and it resides in the White Desert, which is basically just a place I've plunked down in my world because I want to have a giant desert where I can put Mesopotamian-inspired, Egyptian-inspired, that kind of aesthetic into my world and have it make sense. For right now, it's sort of lazy, honestly. Let's not lie, it's pretty lazy. But it's there, and I want it to be somewhere. Serket is such a large creature that, let's call it she, because even though I'm not sure if I would give a gender to the colossals, because they're just so big. They are larger than life. Yonder doesn't really like have anything to do with them. They're beyond that shit. She works because Serket, the goddess, is, as mentioned, a goddess, and well, we'll get to the other reason why she works as a mother. Now, Serket, around her, there's an increased population of giant scorpions, just your standard giant scorpions that are like something like a 10 feet long body. Now, much more manageable than 4 kilometers. But with that in mind, there has been people who have found Serket and decided, oh yeah, let's live here. Let's try to make a deal with this ginormous creature. And so they did. A deal exists between Serket and the city on her back, which basically amounts to, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Serket doesn't need to move much. She can just kinda, you know, be a colossal fuck off scorpion and just bury herself under his hands and not give him much of a shit. Oh. Forever cursed to have to edit these things, aren't I? Well, we're too far in now to go back and do another retake. Let's continue about Serket. So, the deal is essentially a you scratch my back, I scratch yours sort of deal, where Serket is fed, and in return, well, the scorpions surrounding don't really attack the city. I mean, I've yet to decide if they will protect themselves against being hunted, because the city needs to eat, and while they can drink from Serket's blood, that's probably gonna be a pretty high-ranking thing where, like, I don't know, maybe a goblet is given to the new sultan every time they are coronated or something. It needs to be special. But outside of that, you need to have a food supply. There's gonna be water supply, and a lot of this city's population is gonna be fed through the fact that, yeah, we're on the giant scorpion. Do you wanna fuck with us? Didn't think so. And so you just give them stuff as tribute, or whatever you like to call it. Now, what are some aspects of this city then? If we think about that, well, Serket's past fun to muse at. I also like the idea of keeping it a bit mysterious. Well, let's look over Serket's city. The city is, as mentioned, built atop the back of the giant scorpion. This city is... oh, how do I describe this? Well, look at it this way. Scorpions can bury under sand. Some species, at the very least. There is one layer of the city which is under sand at any given time, unless Serket is walking. This is the basement level. Now, the basement structures have openings in them. Openings that are commonly sealed off when in standard conditions Serket is under the sand. These openings are sealed off, but could be opened if someone really tried. On top of that, you have a population density over the space of roughly 3.5 square kilometers maybe. You have a population of maybe 10,000 is the current number. A population density is pretty high, but it's not ridiculous, so that's very neat. The skyline of the city is sort of like the teeth of a saw. Now, this is purely on the virtue of how another stuff, which we'll soon get to. Along the length of Circuit is one wide road. I think currently it's like 30 meters wide, something like that. I might make that even wider, we'll have to see. The reason that this is here is because of what lie on the very center of Circuit's back. Okay, no, it's just a train. I thought for a moment that around the corner was a car. That would have been bad. There is a little plaza, which currently is set at double the size of the plaza that is right in front of the Notre Dame in Paris. This plaza holds on it a execution area. Now, if this place is used very much, I'm not so sure. It's probably not used terribly often, but it's there, just in case. This is in place so that if someone really deserves it, and we're talking like, okay, you have fucked up big time, you're like enemy of the state #1 here, then they will be placed at a frame. Think the Frostpunk trailers, I think it is. I think it's in their trailers that they have someone gets chained up, spread eagle style. Then the priests and priestesses of Circuit will go off. They'll go to the speaking place with Circuit, and then your final moments will be seeing the most terrifying thing of your life. You'll be seeing the stinger, the tail of Circuit, rise out of the sand, bend over the city, casting his vast shadow, and then skewer you. You'll probably die of just blunt force trauma, of just being pierced by this. I mean, it's probably like 50 meters long. That is just me throwing a number. I have not measured how long her tail will be, but suffice to say, it's pretty big. And then the poison. You're fucked. Let's just put it that way. It's the ultimate move of fuck with the state and get fucked. So that's a thing. Then right south, let's call it south. Let's for the purposes of ease of description, align Circuit so that north is pointing where the head is. This doesn't have to be the case, but let's call it that. Let's call north where Circuit's head is pointing. South of the execution area is a large area of bazaars. This is a bustling area of trade where people have put up their stalls. You have silks hanging, you have people shouting about their wares. A bustling market, including some characters who have 4 or 6 arms. I'm fairly sure I said it, 4 arms. And I mainly put them there because I like it. I might use the Cree, or however they're pronounced, as that. But I just like the idea of 4-armed creatures. They're there doing their trades. And beyond that, you have at the very top of this whole thing, at the very north, over the plate that is the head of Serket, you have the inner citadel, a wall blocking this area off, which then you have the temple on. Now the palace area is modeled roughly after the size of the Taj Mahal of that space. Now there is probably a bunch of errors in these. There's a bunch of, you know, it's not the Taj Mahal that I've just slapped on top of this. I have done some manipulation. It's mainly the palace covers roughly the space of the Taj Mahal, though I might need to fiddle around with that a lot, honestly. And this is an advice I'd give anyone who wants to do these large scale things. If you ever wonder, have I done this large enough or have I done this too large, think of some real world monuments, go to Google Maps, look them up, go to satellite mode, right click the map and click measure distance, I think it is. I think my computer gives me its Swedish, not Ausland, automatically, which annoys me because I speak more English than I do Swedish, especially when I'm doing my world building. But measuring these distances and figuring out, okay, so that's roughly how big that is. I can work with that. That seems right. And I mean, I'm not a well-traveled man by any means, but I have a rough sense of I want things to match possibility. And Taj Mahal is a real building. It is constructed in our real world. So why not use it as a rough outline of, yeah, this can be a rough size. I also used a Lincoln Memorial somewhere in there. And of course then, you know, you use your surroundings. There are some measurements. I know that I actually use an island here in Sweden as a rough reference for myself on how large Serket is, because the island Ven is 4 kilometers long. Anyhow, whatever way, you have the temple, you have there the palace where the Sultan, I'm gonna call it that for now, lives, surrounded by 6 towers. You have a central large circular building, and then 6 towers set in a honeycomb corner-esque pattern around that. These towers each have a bridge between them, with the last one connecting to the actual palace tower. This is a form of layers of defense system where each tower has its own mage in it. Now this is at least how I am interpreting my old notes. I might scrap a bunch of shit, but we'll see. Now, these towers, as mentioned, each has a mage in it, which will fight to the nail to ensure that you do not get past them. And then you'd have to get out of that tower, across a bridge, which is a choke point, through a door and into the next tower and fight the next mage. And we're talking pretty high level mages, like probably a hierarchy, but no, steps before you actually get to the palace, if you were to go there for attacking. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Then you have the aspect of 2 temples that lay within the inner citadel. One is there to help bolster the offensive capabilities of Serket and its soldier and her soldiers. One, the defensive capabilities of Serket and her soldiers, both working in tandem in case of an emergency to make sure that the city survives. Oh goodness, it's starting to rain. We'll have to wrap this up soon. You then also have the potential idea that dangling from the tail is a sort of like an upside down tower. I think there's something in like Aladdin where towards the end Aladdin gets thrown away in a tower, sort of that. Dangling from the tail where wizards are within it, ready to fling spells from within that tower down upon the enemy. Serket could fold, and because of the saw structure of the city, it works. You have the gardens, you have the underground sand cavern where you have Serket's head. But we'll have to discuss more of that in another video because I'm approaching home and I've, as I mentioned, rain is coming. So what would you guys want to see next? Do you want to know more about Serket? Because I'm developing them. So if you want to, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, see ya!